Donald Trump is making waves across the globe, from Moscow to Middle America. From bold new diplomacy to controversial domestic policies, this is a political storm you don't want to miss. You're watching Celebscope USA, where power, policy, and personality collide. Let's dive in. In what could be one of the most consequential geopolitical moves of the year, former and now returning President Donald Trump has confirmed an in-person summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The announcement comes as conflict in Ukraine drags into its fourth year with no formal peace in sight. The meeting, scheduled for the coming days, is set to take place in a neutral location, reportedly the United Arab Emirates. According to sources close to the Trump campaign and Russian officials, the focus of the talks will be a potential ceasefire framework in Ukraine. Though Trump has expressed optimism, Russian President Putin has remained cautious. Kremlin insiders say that while the meeting is welcomed, the conditions for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to join a three-way negotiation are not currently met. Trump, meanwhile, clarified that while peace with Ukraine is the goal, it's not a precondition for engaging in high-level discussions with Moscow. Steve Witkoff, a senior U.S. envoy and real estate developer closely tied to Trump, recently met with Putin in Moscow for a nearly 3-hour private session. Both sides described the dialogue as surprisingly productive, signaling that diplomatic channels, long frozen, may be reopening under Trump's renewed leadership. This meeting marks a strategic pivot from the Biden administration's multilateral sanctions approach and places Trump back in the global spotlight as a potential peacemaker or power broker. Whether the world sees this as diplomacy or disruption, one thing is clear: Trump is back, and he's playing for high stakes. But while international attention is fixed on Russia and Ukraine, back home, Trump is igniting a firestorm over the 2025 census. In a post on his social media platform Truth Social, Trump announced his intent to push for a new national census, but not just any count. He wants it to exclude undocumented immigrants from the population totals used for congressional representation and federal funding. Traditionally, the U.S. Census includes every resident, regardless of citizenship status, a standard enshrined in practice and precedent. Trump's proposal aims to change that, suggesting that only American citizens and legal residents should be counted for legislative apportionment. Critics argue this would dramatically shift political power away from diverse, immigrant-rich states like California, New York, and Texas, redirecting congressional seats and billions in federal aid to whiter, more rural areas. Civil rights groups and immigration advocates have already vowed legal challenges, labeling the move unconstitutional and racially motivated. However, Trump and his allies insist it's about restoring fairness and accuracy in representation. Why should states that harbor illegal aliens get extra seats in Congress? Trump asked during a recent campaign stop. It's common sense. Legal scholars are divided. Some say the plan could survive Supreme Court scrutiny under a conservative majority. Others warn it opens the door to a dangerous precedent of erasing residents from civic life. While the census plan sparks domestic tension, Trump is also taking aim at America's tech elite, with Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan in his crosshairs. Tan, who became Intel's CEO in 2024, is under fire from Trump for alleged ties to Chinese semiconductor companies. Trump claims Tan's previous role at Walden International, a firm that invested heavily in Chinese tech, poses a national security risk. Intel is an American company, Trump said. We can't have someone at the top who's cozy with Beijing. This is about national security, plain and simple. Trump has called for Tan's immediate resignation, triggering a fierce response from industry leaders. Intel's board released a statement defending Tan's record and denying any conflict of interest. Meanwhile, tech analysts warn that politicizing executive leadership at a crucial time for chip innovation could hurt the industry and the broader U.S. economy. This brings us to Trump's Tariff War 2.0, which is already rattling global markets. As part of his America First economic revival plan, Trump has enacted sweeping new tariffs, some as high as 100%, on a wide array of foreign imports, including electronics, solar panels, electric vehicles, and pharmaceuticals. The move is designed to boost American manufacturing and reduce dependency on China and other adversarial nations. But the consequences are already being felt. Consumer prices are rising, supply chains are strained, several multinational companies have paused hiring or restructured product lines to mitigate costs. Wall Street has shown signs of unease, with major indexes dipping and investors pulling back from manufacturing-heavy stocks. Still, Trump remains defiant. They said tariffs would crash the economy in 2018. They were wrong, he said at a recent rally. They're wrong again. We're rebuilding America, one factory at a time. Yet, behind closed doors, even some Republican lawmakers are concerned. A senior Senate aide revealed that GOP leaders are pressuring Trump to issue exceptions or phased implementations for key sectors like agriculture and energy. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, another battle is brewing, this time over Washington, D.C. itself. Following a recent uptick in violent crime, including a tragic case involving a former Department of Energy staffer, Trump is threatening to federalize D.C.'s police force. The city is out of control, he said in an emergency press conference. If the mayor can't handle it, we will. Trump is proposing full federal oversight of D.C. law enforcement, with the National Guard deployed to support policing efforts. This would be a dramatic shift away from the city's home rule governance and could spark a constitutional showdown between the executive branch and local leadership. Mayor Muriel Bowser responded forcefully, calling the proposal anti-democratic and warning that such a move would undermine the autonomy of every American city. Despite the controversy, polling shows a surprising 52% of D.C. residents support some form of federal intervention, highlighting the complex debate over crime, autonomy, and public safety in urban America. But if all that weren't enough, Trump is making headlines in the Middle East, reviving the Abraham Accords and delivering bold new claims about Iran's nuclear arsenal. In a televised address on August 7th, Trump called on all Arab nations, including holdouts like Saudi Arabia and Iraq, to join the Abraham Accords, the diplomatic normalization pact first signed in 2020 under his original presidency. Our peace deals changed the world once, Trump said. Now we're going to finish the job. He also made a provocative claim, stating that Iran's nuclear capabilities had been completely obliterated through covert operations and strategic strikes, not all of which, he hinted, have been made public. Military analysts were quick to question the validity of the statement, as no international agency has confirmed a total dismantling of Iran's nuclear program. Still, regional sources report increased military activity near key Iranian sites in recent months. Israeli officials welcomed the renewed push for diplomatic alliances, while Iranian leaders dismissed Trump's comments as delusional American propaganda. Still, the speech was well received in several Gulf nations, where anti-Iran sentiment remains strong. Trump's team says new agreements are already in discussion, and several countries may be prepared to formalize ties with Israel before the end of the year. This multi-pronged diplomatic blitz has many analysts wondering, is this the beginning of Trump's true second-term agenda? A blend of bold global moves, populist economic strategy, and domestic disruption. Whether you view him as a maverick or a menace, Donald Trump continues to dominate the global stage with high-impact decisions that force the world to respond. So let's recap the headlines that are shaping the news right now. Trump and Putin to meet within days. Possible Ukraine ceasefire on the table. Controversial new census plan excludes undocumented immigrants. Intel CEO under pressure to resign over alleged ties to China. Massive tariffs reshape economic landscape. Markets respond. Federalization threat in D.C. triggers legal and political backlash. Abraham Accords revival and bold claims about Iran's nuclear capabilities. This is the Trump era, round 2, and it's moving fast. If you want up-to-the-minute reporting on every power move, policy shift, and presidential controversy, don't miss a single update. Subscribe now to Celebscope USA. Tap that notification bell so you never miss a headline. Like the video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let us know, do you believe Trump's bold diplomacy is working or backfiring? Thanks for watching Celebscope USA, where the facts speak louder than the spin. Until next time, stay smart, stay alert, and stay ahead of the curve.